I didn't choose this path. Not the way people think. I didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to walk away from everything. Oh no, I felt it. Deep in my bones, in a voice that didn't ask, it insisted that I couldn't keep pretending, couldn't keep masking, couldn't keep twisting myself into shapes that made other people comfortable. So I walked away, not just from a job or a routine or a relationship. I walked away from every version of myself that was built to survive someone else's world. And in that silence, that terrifying, bottomless, lonely silence, I finally heard the truth. My emotions were never mine. They were inherited, engineered, managed by systems that told me how to feel, when to cry, what to hide. So I asked myself the hardest question I've ever faced. If those feelings aren't mine, then who am I underneath them? And that's where the rebuilding began. But let me be clear, there wasn't some big breakthrough moment. There wasn't a light bulb. It wasn't poetic. It was brutal. It was me alone, Googling terms like emotional numbness and why can't I cry, and ending up in $10,000 workshops that promised healing and sold scarcity instead. It was neuroscience behind a paywall, emotional intelligence buried under academic language. It was me, piecing together scraps of humanity from research papers and podcasts. Because nobody had made a map for what I was feeling. And in that mess, that emotional scrap heap, I started to notice something. The systems we were told would protect us, they don't. They reward performance, not presence. They shame vulnerability and call it strength. They turn your feelings into metrics and your pain into a profit model. And once I saw that clearly, I couldn't unsee it. So I started asking harder questions. Had I feel guilty for feeling tired? Why did I think love had to be earned? Why did I believe silence was strength? Every answer pointed to the same place. This world wasn't built for emotional sovereignty. It was built to keep you small, silent, and self-editing. To have you regulate your emotions not for your peace, but for their convenience. And that's when I realized if I was going to survive, if I was going to reclaim myself, I had to unlearn everything. I had to define emotional strength on my terms. I had to decide that my voice mattered even when it was shaking. And I had to start naming my emotions. Not the ones I was allowed to have, but the ones I had buried under decades of performance. So I did what nobody else had done for me. I started building, not a brand, not a platform, a language, a new way to talk about what we're all feeling, a way to say, you are not broken. You are not too much. You've just been gaslit by systems that were never made for your wholeness. Now here I am, 10 episodes in, an entire framework later, digital emotional intelligence, the 4 futures, the reset tools, the journals. And not because I had the answers, but because I refused to keep asking permission to exist. This podcast wasn't a content strategy. It wasn't built to go viral. It wasn't made to chase trends. It was born because I was drowning. And instead of going under, I built a raft. And then I lit that raft up so others could see their way through the dark. And no, I don't expect 3 million people to hear this. I don't expect it to get picked up by algorithms because that's not the point. The point is the message. The point is this. You can live emotionally sovereign. You can live emotionally authentic if you want it. If you're willing to count the cost, and I won't lie to you, there is a cost. There's the cost of walking away from comfort, the cost of shedding your mask in a world that rewards the performance, the cost of being fully you in a system designed to flatten your complexity. But there's a cost on the other side too. There's a cost to hiding, a cost to pretending, a cost to teaching your nervous system to be silent when it's screaming. So the real question isn't, is it hard? It's, which cost are you willing to pay? I paid mine, and I'm still paying. And I'll be honest, there are days I still reach for the mask. But when I do, it's not because the system wants me to. It's because survival, for now, still requires some performance. But here's the thing. I put that mask on knowing what it is. I take it off when I can. I speak my truth when it matters. And I keep building, so one day we won't need the mask at all. Because if I want to keep my emotional autonomy, if I want the right to feel what I feel, to grieve when I need to love without surveillance, to rest without guilt, then I have to choose it over and over again. So I did. And I do. I chose truth. I chose resistance. I chose to lay my wounds bare, not for pity, not for clout, but to make it easier for someone else to heal. I'm not asking you to do the same, but I am asking you to count the cost, not in dollars, not in downloads, in your emotional well being, in your future, in your children's future, in the systems you silently allow to mold your mind and monetize your feelings. Because dystopia isn't coming, it's already here. And if we're going there, I hope you rebel. I hope we all rebel. And when we do, I'll be here with journals, with tools, with fire, with love. And if we're lucky, if enough of us decide to reclaim our emotional selves before the machine eats us whole, maybe we'll skip the collapse. Maybe we'll leap straight into Renaissance. And if I live long enough to see that, I will be the happiest man in the world. Because I'll know the journey wasn't in vain. I'll know the wounds weren't wasted. I'll know that in some small sovereign way, we won. Stay digitally sovereign. Stay digitally smart. And remember, stronger emotions, not stronger algorithms. Until next time, I'm Dedrick, and this has been Digital EQ Reimagined, the space where we reimagine the world we're in and the one that's coming.